we are at a worse place than we were in any previous wave.
Upton
We've got more kids dying of COVID than have died in several years of flu season. But I think that it's time to look at these metrics, and we can look at hospitalization rates. That's not something that the public is used to thinking about, but I do liken this to sort of the way we actually have begun to look at pollution. You look at a place like where I grew up, the Bay Area, they have spare the air days. When things aren't so good in terms of pollution, they make changes until it gets better. And I think the same thing can apply here. We look at hospitalization capacity and say, look, we need to make sure that our infrastructure is safe and our kids are protected. And I think having very clear gates, very clear guidance thresholds are really important. The ones from last summer are now out of date. We need to get a much clearer sense of what the goal is, and that gives people something to shoot for.
Absolutely. We all want clarity. And I want to focus then on what we can see tangibly, because New Jersey is one of the states that is planning to change the mask restrictions, and that's one of 3 East Coast states lifting those restrictions, specifically in schools. New Jersey is planning to do that in early March. Here's Governor Phil Murphy's reasoning.
Our case count, hospitalizations, the spot positivity rate, the rate of transmission are all dropping like a rock.
Like a rock, and we took a look at the stats. He's right, cases are down, hospitalizations in that state have also trended way down, and it's important to note 73% of the population in New Jersey, and they have another month before changing this policy, so assuming those trends continue, does it seem reasonable?
I think that every state is going to have a different threshold for this. I think that matters greatly as the ground conditions, but the last thing you want to do is stick to a plan because you announced it. But if the hospitals are in good shape, if transmission is low, then yes, you want to give people a break. But we can't, just because we take an off ramp doesn't mean that there is not a quick on ramp. I think people have this idea that changing what we do is a sign that we're being wishy-washy or that we're moving the goalposts. When in reality, if we actually make very clear distinctions about what we're trying to achieve, we can actually tell people what's going on and why. So I've never yet seen a situation where we de-escalated prematurely. If anything, I think this country has been a little too aggressive. We've paid the consequence in terms of all-cause mortality. But at some point, we need to give people something to shoot for, even if it's a brief respite between waves.
So California is planning to drop the indoor mask mandate next week in that state, and that's specifically for vaccinated people. What do you think of that plan? Do vaccinated people need masks?
Well, we certainly know that vaccination keeps people out of the hospital. It probably